Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I'm asking the question, is the influencer culture ensuring the long-term destruction of Western civilization? And in order to answer that question, I think there's some relevant facts that we need to learn. But before that, let's look at role models. And the reason why we're talking about role models is every generation, especially when they're young, tends to look up to people in the older generation, if you will. And the reason why we're talking about this is because we just hit the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and so Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became role models for literally legions of kids. And by virtue of that, and NASA credits them as well as shows that really promoted science and learning, like Star Trek, for example, back in the late 60s. You had a legion of kids get into computers, get into NASA, get into to engineering and stuff like that, which helped really foster the computer revolution that really started in the 1980s and on and on. This is how we've perpetuated society. But as we are looking at these, as we are looking at, with our new foundation of technology, we actually have a lot of kids that when they are looking for role models, they're not necessarily picking the astronauts and the engineers and all of that. And now we have some proof. Now, a recent survey that was conducted for Lego, that is Legos, the building blocks, was done by Harris Poll. And it's actually very fascinating. They polled kids in the United States, the United Kingdom, and China, just to basically see what they wanted to be when they grew up. And they did thousands of kids, about 3,000 plus kids, I believe, in each country. And they were given the choice. Would you want to be an astronaut, a musician, a professional athlete, a teacher, or a vlogger/YouTuber? And hands down, and you know where I'm going with this, the top choice in both the United States and the United Kingdom were vlogger/YouTuber. Interestingly enough, 1/3 roughly of kids in both of those countries would rather be a YouTuber than an astronaut or a musician or anything else. Conversely, in China, 56% of children said astronaut. And I think that really speaks to the culture that we are building today. I don't care what you think about this, good, bad, or ugly, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. But when we are looking at influencer culture, for this, we're honestly not really producing anything. You can look to see what these people are doing, and a lot of them, let's say, are models or they have made a living basically talking about stuff or possibly promoting products. Through advertising and all of that. That's basically what the influencer industry is, and it's a billions of dollars industry every year. But is it really fostering what we need, let's say, to be competitive in the long term? If the next generation basically just wants to sit at home and talk to a camera, and ironically, I understand I'm sitting here literally talking to a camera on you. That is not lost on me, for the record. But we are looking at this and saying, where's the next major technological revolution going to come if everybody's blogging about whatever the hell they're blogging about, or vlogging, or whatever you want to call it? And we have seen some absolute useless things, come out of these things. So, for example, there was an 18-year-old influencer, if you will, with like a couple million followers. She wasn't even able to sell 30 t-shirts, this kind of thing. Or we've seen other influencers/bloggers like Logan Paul, who I think, just quite frankly, I'm not going to lie, I think he's a pretty awful individual with a lot of the stuff that he's done, but he has millions of followers, millions of fans. How is that moving the ball forward for civilization? How are we delivering information or encouraging kids to go into things? Now, we have a lot of things that are trying to stem this tide in STEM, trying to get kids into the sciences and all of that, but the possibility of some kind of fame tends to make, I think, this generation, or the younger generation, look at this and say, well, I can literally make money just playing video games, and people will pay me, to do this, which, okay, that's fine. I'm not knocking anybody for a paycheck, but how does that move the ball forward in civilization? Humanity is its best when it is curious. It's its best when it's trying to solve problems and get to the next level. And if we end up sitting here being complacent because we have a free platform and a million followers, I think that can be kind of detrimental to what society is. And I think China is recognizing this by really encouraging their kids to get into engineering. And when you have over half of kids 8 to 12 surveyed in China saying they want to be an astronaut more than anything else, I think that's very telling into where the direction of this is going. And so obviously there's a lot more factors than this, but I think it's a really interesting topic to discuss. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please feel free to tell me I'm completely wrong as usual, well, not that I'm wrong as usual, but I'm just saying I get a lot of people telling me usually that I'm wrong, and here's why, and I'm totally fine with that. So please let me know, but that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.